So you've just subscribed to the Yansa Design System. Congratulations, and thank you so much. Now what? So start by coming over to your instance, and you should be able to type System Applications in the left nav and select Applications. From here, you can click on Downloads to see a list of all of your installed apps. Probably down towards the bottom, you'll find YDS, and if you haven't yet installed, then click the Install button and give that a few minutes to complete. Once that is installed, you may need to refresh your browser, but then come and search for YDS in the left nav, and you'll see everything you need to get started. The best place to begin is by clicking Documentation. That's going to take you to the Yansa Labs, the YDS documentation site. And this is the source of truth for YDS components, the code snippets, all the options. It's always the latest and greatest of YDS. So come here and peruse around. We have another video that's all about getting started with the YDS doc site. So feel free to check that out first. Once you've familiarized yourself with the YDS doc site, come and check out the test page. Now this page lives in your instance, but it's basically a diagnostics and test page for YDS to make sure it's working the way it's supposed to. We'll tell you up top what this is. And again, here you can link to YDS documentation, which is the same site we just saw, or you can link to the code for this particular page, which you'll probably want to do here in a little bit. But for starters, just scroll down and see if all of these components are rendering and are acting the way they're supposed to. These are all live YDS components built into one big widget. You can click through, you can test, you can make sure they're getting values, that they're behaving the way they're supposed to. You can click buttons to set values and nullify values, make other programmatic changes. And this is every YDS element, all that are included with the package. So come in here and just play around and get to know YDS and get to know the different options that are at your disposal for playing with. There are quite a few. If this is all working correctly, then great, you're off to a good start. If it's not, then you may want to come back to your left nav, click on Get Help, and that'll link you to our support page. So get in touch with us and we'll help you to get that up and running. But if it is up and running great, then after you're done playing around, you might want to start getting into the code and seeing just how each of these is put together. In the old ServiceNow tradition, we think the best way to learn some of this stuff is actually get into sample code and start playing around with it. So you can click on this link here to view the source for the YDS elements test widget, which is what we're just looking at. And once we're in here, this will open up the widget editor, and you can see all the code that went into that. There's quite a bit, but we've added comments in each section to begin and end each of the components, both in HTML and in the client JavaScript. So you can see some different examples of how to initiate and initialize these components in different ways and to make the programmatic changes, etc., etc. So dig in. You can copy and paste code from here into your own widgets if you want to. You can also copy and paste code from the YDS doc site into your widgets to start playing around. It's also worth noting that for each one of these YDS elements, the header is clickable, and if you click that header, it'll take you directly to the documentation section for that particular element. So you can quickly find the options, the sample code, and such for those elements. Now, in addition to all the YDS elements, there are some widgets that come with a YDS, and for each one of those, we include a test page so you can make sure they're working okay. Now, some of these you will have, they ship purely with YDS. Some, like OneSearch, for instance, and reservation booking, have some dependencies. And so you may need to go out to Share or somewhere else to get those dependencies and install them before they'll function. And if that's the case, then you'll see a strike through on this page that will let you know the dependency is not installed. But for the rest of these, we can just click and load up that widget and make sure that it's functioning correctly. Here's the multi-stage. It's working great. And then we also have one for table saw, for instance, which is a more complex widget, and it should load up a filterable list of knowledge base articles. So it seems to be working fine as well. And that's it. If you've gotten this far, YDS is now up and running on your instance. It seems to be working great. You can dig into some more of the modules in the left nav to get into details around table saw and some of the widgets and pages and settings. However, that's deeper than we need to go in this introductory. There are some other videos out on our YouTube channel, so feel free to go check that out to learn more about table saw and each of the individual elements and widgets in YDS. But otherwise, go out, have some fun, start playing around. If you do have any questions or comments or suggestions for new things to add to YDS, please come out to the YDS doc site and click the Contact Us link up in the top right. Thanks a lot. Bye.